man, I'm trying to tell you, ball python breeding 201. And what I mean by that is you must love every single project that you do with breeding ball pythons, because the last thing you can do is jump head first into something, spend all this money, and then be all over the board. But hey, stick around for this video and I'll show you how to focus. And as well as I'll share with you some of our 2025 holdbacks, pretty much every 2025 holdback that we got for this year. Hey guys, it's Paul with Spheric Reptiles, and I just want to thank you for coming back to our channel. And in particular, I'm going to be sharing with you some of our 2025 holdbacks, as well as I will be discussing why you must love every single ball python project that you pursue. Now, you might say, you know, ball python 101, well, that was the video before this one. So in ball pythons breedings 201, what I'd like to do is just discuss the focus. Now, whether you're a new ball python breeder, existing ball python breeder, or you're just considering becoming a ball python breeder, this video should help you in the fact that when you produce these babies, you actually have to produce them as if you're going to have to keep every last one of them. So if you don't love looking at it, then you probably shouldn't breed it. And so I'll start off with that as the baseline. But now that we're going to move on, I'm going to share you some of our 2025 holdbacks. And this is our latest clutch. And this is from a dreamsicle male that's blackhead leopard confusion to a doublehead lavender albino pied, or another dreamsicle, right? So this is Drogon, head dreamsicle that just so happens to be leopard and confusion. You see the crazy pattern there? He's already had his first meal, and he's the only non-visual lavender albino that's in the group. This one, as you see, I don't even have the name tags labeled yet. This is Viserion, and Viserion is a blackhead leopard lavender albino that's heifer pied, right? So again, you know our focus is on dreamsicles because when I did my market research, I saw that a lot of people like them. This is Balerion. I had to look at the tag, and Balerion is another female that we have, and Balerion is a just lavender albino that's heifer pied, right? And so we move forward, I just want to really get you guys to see the focus. But before we move on, if you're watching this video, go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button. It's free. And a lot of you are watching it, getting good benefits from the videos and not doing that. So if you could help your boy out a little bit, then I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so number one, the reality of breeding ball pythons. So like everybody, and I don't care who you are, what stage you started, when you originally thought about breeding ball pythons, the first thing you saw was all these pattern morphs, and you were really thinking, oh, I want this morph, it's pretty, this morph, it's pretty. I want this morph, that morph, everywhere, morph. You were just grabbing ball pythons left and right, right? And then all of a sudden you had about 10 animals and you said, hey, I see other people breeding this. I want to breed them too. But let me tell you, my boy Chris Eden said it best. You know, a lot of people are breeding ball pythons and they have no idea as to how to focus. So what I'd like for you to do is just really focus. So if you haven't bought a bunch of animals, say you got 5, you're still good. Hopefully you haven't bought 20 or 30 of these just morphs of all different varieties. But in reality, what you need to do is focus, because less is more. And the more you focus, the more consistent your results. So basically what I'm saying, just to put it in like simple terms, the way that I need it explained is that, all right, so if I have 2 males and 3 females or 4 females, that's enough for a whole project for me starting out as a small breeder. And then so I can focus those into animals that I want. So whether it's making hets or it's making visuals, I can actually move that project forward, which is the whole thing that you want to do. So to have 50 animals that you don't know how to pair, you don't know what you're trying to get, and you're all over the board, it's not going to help you out. So what I'm suggesting is that you focus, and less is more, and then that'll help you get more consistent. But it'll also help you become more reputable as a breeder of ball pythons. So when someone thinks of you, if you enter into that selling market, they will know you for specific morphs. So we have a lot of confusion, and we have dreamsicle and TSK. So when people see me, I want them to already know what type of animals that I will be bringing to the table, whether they're buying them on Morph Market or they're buying them from reptile shows and expos. And also the focus will help keep your costs down. So if you're focused on your breeding projects, then you'll have fewer animals And you got to remember that cost. So it'll streamline your cost, and that cost is real. So for each one of these, it will cost $60 to $120 a year, or $5 to $10 a month just to feed them. I mean, that's not electricity, that's not anything else, that's not bedding, that's just in food costs. So you're looking at, if you have to feed like the hatchlings to juvenile, you got to feed them every week. That's at least $120 if you don't breed your own rodents. If you go to subadults or adults, then that would be $5 a month or $60 a year per snake. So getting that cost down will let you stay in the black more than the red. And when we talk about breeding, you have to discuss the price, guys. And if you're not discussing the price, then give me some money. Go and shoot me some money. You know what I'm saying? If you don't care about your money, then I won't care about your money. But in the meantime, in between time, like I always say, each one of these animals has to be fed a minimum, the hatchlings, a minimum of once a week. So going into it, if you can streamline, then you get exactly what you want. And remember, it's something that you could look at even if you don't sell it. And I'm hoping that you sell it, because as you move forward with your focus, you'll be more consistent and you'll be more reputable, and people will realize what you got. Now I will show you some other hatchlings that we have. So this was from our True Ghost or Morpheus, a TSK hypo to a bamboo inchi calico. And this is one of the females we got. And this is a pastel inchi calico that's also double head for TSK and hypo. That's one of our holdbacks. And then this is another one. This is Nike. Nike is I'll just pull Nike out. It looked like he want to come out anyway. So you can see Nike is a bamboo inchi calico that's double head for TSK and hypo. So this is another one that we have. I'm just really interested to see how bamboo works with the True Ghost. And then lastly, we have, who do we have here? This is Deodora. I don't know if you guys remember the Deodora tennis shoes, but this is a bamboo inchi that is double head for TSK and hypo. And this is a female. What we did is we kept 1.2 out of that collection, and it worked out really well for us to do that. And while I'm thinking about it, I'll go ahead and show you. This is from our Dreamsicle head project. So this one right here is Sycamore. She's a confusion that is a confusion leopard that's double head for Dreamsicle. You can see just how pretty she is, and we had her genetic tested and everything. And this just goes to the focus that we got on what we said our original plans would be. This one right here is San Diego. San Diego's not even from the clutch, but I want to show you guys. This is a Huffman leopard that is head for clown. So that's one of the few clown projects we're working with Huffman. And this is Willow, who we're having re-genetic tested to see exactly what she is. I'm trying to see, because she came from a dual sire clutch, but I want to see if she is leopard spot nose or if she is confusion that is double head for Dreamsicle. But she already has substantial weight to her, and I'm just waiting to test results back from RGI. Let me get into this part that I think I'm drilling down to more serious topics, and I always say it's warm in here, but it truly is warm around my snakes. It's at least 77, 78 degrees every time I step in here. That's the ambient room temperature. If you keep a limited number of focused projects, then that's only going to help you guys. There's nothing bad that will come from that. If you have a limited number of focused projects, that will keep your collection cleaner. And so what I mean by that, it will give you more reproducible results. And so that's what you want when you're doing your breeding project. If you mix a lot of different genes in from this way and a lot of different genes in from that way, you never know what you're going to get, and you're going to end up with random animals. So my thing is that if you can buy it that's already being produced, don't even try to make that. Try to make something new, because that will give you a greater sense of accomplishment versus just trying to copy what someone else is doing. So I'm not trying to get you to copy anything. Try to make something truly unique. And if it turns out looking like shit, hey, at least you tried it. But it might turn out to look like it's worth $1 million, and truly it might be worth at least 100 grand. I mean, that's what the most expensive ball python last year sold for 100 grand, which, you know, that's a lot of fucking money. Let me tell you, I mean, that's a lot of money. But what I mean by cleaner is everything should either advance your projects forward. So with each step, it should advance. So what I mean by that is, so I did some pairings with some heads, right? So immediately after we got these offsprings, I already had people in line to buy those females because they wanted proven breeders. So that's the best thing you can have, is as you move forward with your projects and you're trying to keep your numbers low, and you know some good breeders that are trying to develop their own projects with some of your animals that you've already used And maybe I only bred these females one time, but when I got what I wanted, these are good friends. And I was like, hey, definitely these can go to your collection if you're trying to work this project. They're proven breeders. And guess what? If you buy a proven breeder female, the feeding habits are already established. So if they're a mouser, they're a mouser. If they're an ASF, they're an ASF. And you just let the people know whatever they're feeding on, live or frozen thawed, rat or whatever, and it will work for them. That animal will probably never go off food if they can even get close to mimicking the conditions that you have. So as you go into acquiring your animals, that's one of the key things I want you to think about. So I talked about advancing it forward, but I also want to talk about this thing. Strengthening your project's foundation. So when you strengthen your foundation, that means that, so I have a male that's a dreamsicle that's blackhead leopard confusion. Now, I want other genes in that mix. So that's why when I was thinking of breeding him, I actually ended up and I acquired a black pastel lavender so that I can make even some hits out of that. But at the end of the day, I really wanted to make lavender albino. So that will move our projects forward. So you got to think about advancing your projects and also strengthen them. When you're thinking about breeding, guys, that time is money. And then you also want to focus that. So that's the two things that I really want to stress to you. But hey, I know I've talked enough. So let me show you some snakes. So this is another holdback that we have. It's a clown. I'm just showing you all of our 2025 holdbacks. This is a spot-nosed yellow-bellied pinstripe clown. And this is a female. And we chose to keep it because this was the only visual example that we would have in our collection. And then as I skip up, this one is one that we acquired, but this is Cottonwood, and this is one of the sisters to the other cluster that I showed of the Dreamsicles. And this is a blackhead confusion lavender that's head for pied. So you can see just how sharp her contrasts are, her head, and just how white the whites are. All of those whites will turn to lavender as she gets older, but I really wanted to capture that confusion pattern because there's something about confusion, guys. And then as we move up here, I'll move into our TSK project. And this is Carrie, and she is an acid orange dream yellow belly that is double head for TSK and hypo. And you can see all of the unique colors in her. And then I got her sister that I'm holding back as well. And this is Christine. This is from our Scary Movie Clutch. And Christine is the same genes. And she is an orange dream yellow belly that is also double head for TSK and hypo. We had both of these genetic tested as I try to get her back into the, oh man, she's like always, all of my snakes always end up coming out because I handle them so much when they're hatchlings. And this is Candyman, and Candyman is just an acid that's double head for TSK and hypo, and he's also orange dream. So, and I had him shed tested as well, and you can see what I'm trying to do there with that project. I want to really see in that project what will the orange dream do to the TSK hypo when I throw acid in. I'm trying to see if it'll mix it up or what it'll do. But then these will also be paired just as, I mean, you already can see what I'm doing right here with the bamboo and the acids and making the Trugos because it's never been done. So I already got the ingredients right here. As soon as I get these females up and going, I'm ready to go with that project. I'm gonna put them together. They're from two separate entities, two separate parents, and I'll be able to actually see what actually happens with them. And so that's what I'm trying to get you guys to do when it comes to streamlining. All right, so how do you start? How do you start? So I've already kicked a bunch of stuff to you, and I don't know if you had a plan. You might be thinking, what the hell was my plan? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Your plan, remember, if you remember from some videos away a little while ago, your plan is the one that matters because you're the one that's spending the money. So you're the main reason why this is even happening, because more than likely in your family, you're the only one who messes with snakes. You probably don't have anybody else that messes with snakes. So this is how I want you to start. I want you to start with focus, guys. So to start off with a real breeding project, you need 2 males to 4 females, right? So they're going to call that 2.4 around the reptile community, right? So you can approach that for 1 or 2 ways, but the most efficient way that I see to do it with the least amount of time that you would have to invest is to go ahead and get your incomplete dominance in your females, and they can be hets, right? But this is the kicker. This is the kicker, and this is why there's such a demand for proven breeder females. Go ahead and buy them when they're subadults and adults. It's better if you can buy them as adults, but if you can't buy them as adults, buy them as subadults, because in that way, you only got about, at most, 6 months to a year's time to get them acclimated and developing those follicles. and ready to go for that breeding season, so that you're still excited and you can still, you know, reap on your excitement. You'll never reap on your investment. It's always going to be a money a money wash, right? You're always going to lose money in reptiles. So you can still pay for the rodents, but you always end up upside down, no matter what. Am I right, baby?
Working on not doing
Yeah, well, yeah. We're working on not being upside down, but you can still make a profit and you can cut your losses. But all right, so you got your females. So in your males, I would say get the visual recessive examples of the male at the same time. So some people say get your females and then grow them up and then get your males. I'm saying if you can, get them all at the same time. That way they can get acclimated to you and the way that you feed and your husbandry, your humidity levels, everything from the lighting, the ambient room temperature, all of that stuff. They can get used to it. They can get used to it. And when they get used to it, they get comfortable. When they get comfortable, they breed. Animals that are not comfortable do not breed. Did I repeat that? Animals that are not comfortable do not breed, right? I mean, it only makes sense. That's in the humans. That's in every species. If they're not comfortable, if they're not well fed, and they just don't feel secure, they don't breed on their own. Now, even if you put these animals together, you could put them in a tub or a cage or a setup, and they'll just stay apart from each other if they're not ready, or if they don't like each other, or they're just not comfortable. So that's one of the things I want you to do, is make sure that you're getting your animals like this. This is the most efficient way I've seen, because if you buy a female that is a hatchling, right, and you say, I'm gonna take 2.5 years to grow it up, well, that animal could go off of food right after its juvenile stage or somewhere in its subadult phase and not eat for another 8 months. I'm just telling you the truth. Not eat for no reason known to man. You got everything else right. There's no parasites. There's no infections or anything else, and it just goes off of food. That could happen with male or female. And then you're out. But I would say that that's less than likely to happen with a male, plus a male reaches sexual maturity at around, I mean, realistically, I'm going to say 700 grams, 700 plus grams. But you would want to breed that male anywhere closer to 1,000 grams, if at all possible. But if you get that male at the same time as you get the female, that's a subadult, or better yet, an adult female, they're going to acclimate, and within 1 year, they can breed. I'm going to say, yeah, within 1 year, they're going to breed. So think about the streamlinedness of that. You got 2.4 animals or 6 animals, and now you're able to pair them up. They have different parents, and you produce offspring. Now you're left with choices, right? You can either sell off those adults or just raise up the hatchlings. But I would say the better thing to do in ball python breeding 201 would be to keep the animals if this is where you're starting. And if this is your focus just on these 6 animals, and do that. And then raise those animals up. But then while you're waiting on those hatchlings to raise up, you can produce other offsprings. You can take that male and make hits out of other animals that you might have in the collection that you never even considered. So you might have a lesser bongo. And I don't know if you've ever seen a lesser bongo dreamsicle, but you could make hets that are dreamsicle hets and then have the incomplete dominant traits of lesser bongo. And who knows how they'll look? I mean, you might be the first to put something out there and it might be a wow factor, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. That type of focus, when you bleed over to other, but you're still focused on moving your project forward, that's what they call establishing your foundation. And when you establish that foundation, it only makes your projects that much stronger. Now I'm gonna show you the last of our hatchlings, right? And this is Bitey, and Bitey boo-booed. I guess she just boo-booed today, but this is Bitey, and she is a Huffman. She's a really good example of a Huffman that's head for clown. And you see just how pretty she is, the golds that are in there. And I'm gonna clean her cage out as soon as this video is over. And then we have her brother. He's named Seattle, of all things. And you'll just see how pretty Seattle is. And Seattle is a Huffman leopard, spot nose, yellow belly, and he's in deep in shed, and he's head for clown. And you can see just how pretty he is and his pattern. I'll pick him up a little bit. You can see how pretty he is, his pattern and everything, but he's deep in blue, and everybody recognizes that. But that's another project we had. And remember the other one down there, the Huffman leopard I showed, was part of that clutch as well. But, so we got 21 holdbacks on the year, just 21. So we had 12 clutches, and we had 21. And now I just want you guys to know that now all of these animals are officially ready. So eventually they will all be up on Morph Market. So we got some of the offspring, the siblings for these clutches that are over here. They'll be on Morph Market within the next week or two. I can't promise we're going to try to get them up, but I still want to get extra meals in them because I just want to deliver fat snakes to everybody, especially fat baby snakes. You know what I'm saying? So that you know that they're eating. But hey, guys, this last thing that I want to cover is the most serious. And I wasn't going to even share this, but I was talking to Lynn about what happens to snakes after we sell them, right? And this is something that people are always concerned with. What happens to the snakes that breeders have? Well, they keep getting taken care of, right? Most breeders care enough and know enough about taking care of the animals to where they know how much to cut back or how much to move forward on their feedings. And we do that back and forth throughout the year just so that we can trigger a natural feeding response and keep everything as healthy as we can. Well, at least that's what we do here at Spheric Reptiles. But in all reality, one crazy statistic that I used to think about when I was in college was, and this is just a study of people that were there at UT San Antonio. I used to sell snakes, right? People would come back to Petco, they would return the snakes, and then I would put it up on the bulletin board and sell it. Well, I would ask these same people that I sold a snake 2 years later, well, what happened to this Burmese python? Oh, I got rid of it. Well, how'd you get rid of it? And they would just tell me that they basically euthanized the snake or something bad happened to the snake. And I would just, it made me feel so bad that that was part of the reason why I stopped doing that immediately, because once I found that that was the case, it really hurt me. Like, it hurt me to the core because these are animals that I care about. These are animals that I've always loved my whole life. But, you know, I had my own animals. And then when I got back into the hobby, I want to expect that it's better, but in all reality, it's not. So if you're thinking about breeding ball pythons, you got to be prepared to love these babies in case you don't sell any of them. So all the animals you produce, you got to be prepared to have and take care of all of them. And if at any point, my advice to you is if at any point this gets overwhelming, stop breeding. Stop breeding, keep what you got until you can sell them off to responsible pet owners and just keep feeding them, keep taking care of them because they don't deserve anything less. Now, the numbers. And I never said the numbers earlier, but the truth of the matter is what I expect is that every animal that we sell, like 80% of them, and this makes me really sad, I would say 80% are dead within 3 to 5 years after we sell them to people, whether it's online or at shows. 80%, I would suggest that, because if the market is for ball pythons that we see on Morph Market, and of course you can say that these numbers are double because everybody don't sell on Morph Market. So if there's 25,000 animals on Morph Market, you can think that there's twice as many. So 50,000 ball pythons are produced every year. So we got to think from that time until 3 to 5 years, 80% are gone. They're just gone. So, and that's one of the sad things. And so that's why I put these videos out, is so that people can think more responsibly about what they're doing and just really have passion about it. So everything that I'm breeding, I love looking at. So I'm not breeding anything that I don't love looking at, something that I'm not 100% committed to. All of the animals that we have, whether they're pets over in the bioactive enclosures or they're here in a sanitary ball python sanctuary, I love them all. And I mean, if you know anything about me, or if you were to speak to Lynn about me, or anybody that knows me about these snakes, they would tell you that, yeah, I think he loves the snakes more than 95% of all the humans that he knows. And I mean, the humans are a species that, yeah, it's hard to love some humans, but these snakes, these are truly my babies. And so what I would like for you guys to let me know, just because right now I'm starting to feel a little bit down, but this is, I mean, I'm happy with what I'm doing, but let me know the projects that you're working on. Drop that comment down below and let me know the projects that you're working on. And, you know, hey, whatever you share, I can learn from, and hopefully what I'm sharing, you can learn from. And that's why I asked for you to hit that like button and subscribe so that, you know, this content can be pushed out more, because the worst thing that can happen is someone sitting at home by themselves and they're faced with a dilemma as to what to do with their snake. And what I'm hoping is that they run across this video or any of our other 200 plus videos and they see some reasoning to just, hey, let's do one more day with this animal. One more day turns into another year. One more year turns into 5 years. And then it's 15 years. And before you know it, they got a 25-year-old ball python. That's my goal. That is truly my goal, is that each one of these animals can live out the full extent of their life. And the owners can be extremely happy with the animals that they have, even if they have a room full of animals. You know, just make it work. And with nothing else, guys, what I'm going to ask you to do, and I really mean this, is enjoy that time that you spend with your reptiles, all of the reptiles. And definitely, definitely cherish and love your family while you have them. Thank you.